What's up? Welcome back to the Mindshare Podcast. This show is where we cut through the noise, say the things that need to be said, and give you real strategies to help you work smarter, build mindshare, and grow a business that actually makes money. This is episode number 340. And after last week's firestorm episode calling out the BS in Canadian organized real estate, and yes, the DMs and messages are still rolling in, we're shifting gears. Back to you. Because while the system may be flawed, your actions are still your responsibility. And if you're feeling stuck right now, like you're doing all the things and still not seeing the results, well, this one's for you. So let's talk about what it takes to stay consistent when the market's not moving. No deals, no momentum. Now what? Well, here we go. Now, I do want to, I got to bring up, as I usually do, this is a solo episode. Me, you, and of course, a nice cup of coffee. I did get a ton of feedback about the show over the past number of weeks as well, about, frequency and guest versus no guest. And it seems like we're getting a lot of positive feedback from folks who really enjoy these solo episodes and find that they're learning a lot more through these solo episodes than they necessarily would with a guest. All that said, it doesn't mean that we've gotten rid of our guests, or we're not going to be inviting guests. In fact, we've got some cool people that are going to be coming up to the show and joining us. But we are finding that there's a lot of value that's coming through these right now, and it's always nice to change things up. So anyhow, let's get into this, and let's start off by getting real about what's going on in the market. We know it's sluggish out there. We know that consumers, home buyers, homeowners, home buyers and owners, they're uncertain. And deals they're out there, but they're harder to get them done. And that's the reality to it at this moment. And the theme hasn't really changed over these past number of weeks and even months as we talk about this. Same idea. Sellers still believe their houses are sellers still believe their houses are a certain price. We believe it's overpriced. Buyers are having trouble getting the financing, and of course, there's that place in the middle. And what you need to know right now, and this is the conversation I've been having with a lot of my clients, my coaching clients especially, because look, I got to say, and I want to say to all of you, that are working with me right now or that I get to work with, congrats. You guys are all doing really, really good stuff out there. There's some great work happening. There's some great effort happening. I know that, based on the market activity, nobody's really where they want to be. In fact, I will say I've got a few clients that are just absolutely, popping off like fireworks. It's amazing. But again, it depends on the market you're in. It depends on your location. Big city, small town. There's a lot of outside factors. The market as a whole, though, when we do look back over the past 3 to 5 years, we're on the downturn. And I don't believe we've hit rock bottom yet. I believe there's still time for that. I believe that if you take that bird's eye view down on the market, you think, what can I do to learn right now? What can I see so that I can understand what's working, what's not working, what's working for me, what's working against me? The market is completely working against you right now. The market is not friendly to anybody. And because the prices continue to go down for the most part, at some point we will hit that rock bottom. But we're not there yet. Now, something that's impacting the rock bottom, something that's impacting the fluctuation in prices, and think about this, it's impatience. Okay? People are impatient. The sellers are impatient. Us in the industry as realtors, impatient. Everybody just wants the house to sell faster. And because they want the house to sell faster, they then look and say, okay, well, what should we do with our prices to bring our prices down so that we can get more eyeballs on the property? And in some cases it works. In many cases we found it doesn't work. The price reductions, still nobody's coming in and making an offer. So again, that's a bigger mindset, around the market and how it's impacting people and what they think about their future plans. So now what we do, though, is we do bring the price down. And because we bring the price down, well, the seller down the street brings the price down, and all of a sudden the market is down. and numbers, you can't be the highest price listing on the street or in the neighborhood. You're not going to get the showings. It's just it's a fact. So we've got to watch how impatient we are, and we've got to set expectations off the top with our sellers to talk about what's going on in the market to help them really establish a list price that's going to be effective and impactful, and not leave them sitting there stale or needing necessarily to do a price reduction. I would go into any of these listing prices or listing presentations right now as you're going through pricing. At some point, once you do sign that listing, set expectations. If you agree on a price, hey, and you believe that it's maybe on the high end, but your seller's like adamant, have a contingency plan. We are going to revisit this in 14 days. And in 14 days, I'm going to make a recommendation to you based on what the market's doing, based on the showings and the activity. And maybe we're going to change the price. But I want to set that expectation right now so when we get there, nobody's looking at each other and getting upset about it. So we've got listing price, which is impacting the market. I believe because of the impatience, we're still going to see a further bottom fall out of this. Much the same, though, as things are going down. This is a moment to capitalize. Not a moment to sit back and lament, but to capitalize. On what, Dave? Well, think about it. The market is down. At some point, it's going to be time to buy. Not to mention, forget about even spending the money. What about your business? Like, I want you to go back, say 3-5 years ago, and ask yourself how busy you were. In fact, how much time did you have to write up an offer? How much time did you have to put conditions in there? How much time did you have to really think about it? You didn't. There was no time. You had to have the offer. Like, you went and saw the property right now. 2 minutes later, they wanted the offer. They wanted it with no conditions. They wanted all the deposit, and you had to pay them up tomorrow. Like, houses were selling in 3 seconds. You didn't have time. But now you have time. And the question is, what are you doing with your time? Are you making the best use of it and working on your business, making sure that your systems and your processes are polished? Are you making sure that you're following up with people that you may not normally have the time to follow up with? I mean, again, there's a lot of people curling up into a ball, backing themselves into a corner right now. There's a lot of people exiting the business. But if you're planning to stay and you're planning to make this what you do and how you do, and it's been what you do and it's your livelihood, then let's be real. Right now is your time to capitalize on working on your business. Because when things pick back up, it's going to be time to work in the business. Not to mention that when things do start to have the upswing, and now again, we talk about the bottom, well, as it starts to come up out of the bottom, because what goes up must go down, what goes down must go up. How are you going to be positioned in front of your audience? Are they going to have heard from you over these past number of months or even years? Or all of a sudden when things get good, all of a sudden you're going to pop up and be like, hey, I'm here, I can help. They'd be like, whoa, I've been talking to this person already. What do you mean? Well, yeah, we've been having conversations for some time now. Where have you been? Think about it. This is your moment to work on your business, okay? So as the market is sluggish, it's not necessarily about you doing something wrong. It's about the cycle that we're all in. But again, I have to reinforce this. How you show up during this time is what's going to set you apart when things turn. Look, consistency isn't sexy, okay? It's not flashy. But the difference between agents who fade out and fizzle away and the difference between the ones who actually break through and get things done is all about that consistency. So, what does consistency really look like, right? What does consistency actually look like? And I would say to you that it's not about, this isn't about grinding yourself into the ground, okay? Repeat until something happens. I mean, it kind of is. But moreover, this is about doing the right things repeatedly. Even when they feel like they're not working yet. I mean, think about it. Have you got any daily non-negotiables? Are you operating to a system and a process every day? Do you have a structure to what you're doing? And again, it's not that every day needs to be identical, but there's going to be certain non-negotiables in your day that need to happen. And as long as they happen, then you are in a position where there is growth that is present. You are actually working to build up your business. See, without that repetition and consistency, with the slacking mentality or the winging it mentality, I know what I got to do, and you just kind of get up and do. Hey, I'm sure that you're doing it. I'm sure that there's some successes coming from it. Again, reality is, though, we want to be productive. We want to make the most of our time. Because I'd rather spend all day hanging with my children if I possibly could. But, of course, there's work that has to be done to pay the bills. I haven't gotten filthy rich yet. I just haven't. Like, I honestly, like, I want to wake up and I want to dive in. Do you remember, like, what was his name? From the Looney Tunes? Scrooge McDuck or something like that? He had this vault, and he'd, like, dive in every morning and go swimming in his money. I want to do that. I think that'd be so cool. Anyways, not the point here. Point is, in order to get there, there's got to be consistency. There's got to be non-negotiable. So let's look at some of those non-negotiables right now. And again, for those of you that I get the pleasure to work with on a one-to-one basis, you essentially know what these are. You really do. And the question I'm going to ask you right now is, be honest with yourself, and you know that I could see it too because we're tracking your goals. But are you doing the work? Are you actually doing your IPAs? And for those of you that have not yet had the pleasure to work with and coach with and have you through our training, and maybe I have along the way, and I thank you. The question I'm going to ask you too is, are you doing your IPAs? Again, don't just wing it. So, I mean, here, IPAs. Daily prospecting. Whenever possible, I try to fit in about 90 to 120 minutes of prospecting. Like, I'm talking just real conversations with people. Calling, leaving voicemails, sending texts, sending emails, DMing people through social. Realistically, there's a lot of people that don't get back to me. A lot. And I still got a bone to pick about that. Like, I know you got my stuff, but I had this conversation yesterday with a coaching client as well, very strategically. And it's like, when you think about the channel that you're using, is it one-to-one or is it one-to-many? So, for example, if you send out an email blast, that could be construed as a one-to-many message. And we are programmed, because we get so much email, we are programmed to actually not necessarily respond. It's like the mailbox. You get a piece of mail in the mail. Do you immediately go and like try to rewrite a piece of mail back to the person who sent it to you? No. You accept it, you read it, and then depending on what it is, you go next steps with it. So again, email, mail, the social media post, right? These are all one-to-many channels. But then you've got the channels that are one-to-one. Your phone call, your text, your direct message. And anytime you use those channels, there is a higher expectation, because it is an active touch point versus a passive touch point, that somebody will get back to you. Now, again, it's very bothersome when people don't. I think it's rude. I think it's unprofessional. I think that if you don't want to say yes to somebody or don't want to respond, it's insulting for them to see that you've seen the message and there's zero response, especially if they ask you a question. Now, much the same, you on your side. So remember something, okay? Because karma's a bitch. If you're doing that to people, that's why it's happening to you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're not doing it to people, it's not going to happen to you. But put the good energy out there and good things come back. Okay? So don't ghost people. Again, karma's a bitch. In saying all of that, people will do it to you. And so we can't sit back and say, I'm not going to do it because it's not working. People aren't calling me back. Well, that's just a bullshit excuse. Like seriously, right? We're copping out. The name of the game here as a hunter is to go out and hunt. Like, I don't know if you've ever been actually hunting, but I can tell you when we go, on hunts, you could sit out there quietly by yourself in the dark in the middle of the forest for hours on end. every little bird, every little squirrel, every little everything. You're like, oh, your heart starts pumping. You think to yourself, I got one. And then you realize that maybe it was literally like a bird or a squirrel or something, as opposed to maybe, a deer or whatever you're out there for. Now, my point is that when you're hunting, it takes time. Come back to this. It takes patience. And because of all the time, the patience, again, being out there, you're prepped and ready. You're essentially doing the work. Do enough of the work, and good things will happen. Now, bring this back to you're not out there hunting in the forest, but you're out there hunting for business. It's the same idea. Make the calls, send the text, do the DMs, send the emails, do all the stuff that you're doing. And even if nobody responds, keep doing it. Consistency. It's the magic ingredient to everything you want in life. But nobody responded to my mailers. Send them. Nobody got back to my email. Keep sending it. Now, we can always look at, and we do look at, and I mean, that's something that we do with our clients, is we will dive in deeper to understand, well, what did you say in the email? What did you ask for? Was there a CTA? Did you follow the HVC, hook, value, and call to action formula? See, if you're not following these formulas, it's going to be difficult to get people to respond. If you're following them, it gives you a higher chance that people might get back to you. Either way we slice it, daily prospecting needs to be a non-negotiable. Much the same, here's another one. And I kind of just stated it, but your social media presence. Are you putting out meaningful content? Or do you have some third-party company that puts out these stock, word swag kind of like graphics? Nobody gives a shit about those. Like, nobody responds. Go look at your feed. People are not even clicking like. When you put up a picture of you and you're in the photo and maybe there's a family photo or there's something going on with business, people are more apt to click on it, to say something to you, to have a conversation. So the first step here is, do you have a social presence? Not just are you going on social media and stalking other people, but I mean, are you actually posting stuff? We need to be visible and we need to be valuable. You have to have a voice. It is here to stay. Non-negotiable. Okay, another one here. Your follow-up. Do you have a process? How are you using your CRM? Are you taking notes? Are you scheduling the next call? Are you making sure these people are getting marketing from you? And don't wing it. Don't give me this shit. Oh, I know who I got to call. Oh, yeah, we stay in touch. No. I'm telling you right now, and you may be good, and I'll give you that. You may be good. But I promise you, you're missing some opportunities. You missed somebody. You did. You forgot something, a conversation, something that might have pushed the conversation over the edge into a good place of maybe further trust or maybe opportunity. You missed it. And again, there might be a lot of good happening for you, but you missed something. You need to have a follow-up system. And this is not in your lead generation, website CRM. This is about your own CRM, your own system that you can operate to every single day. That's how you run your business. I've said it to you before. You want to drill? You want to drill a hole, or you want a hole? Go get a drill. I totally flubbed that. But anyways, you get it, right? You get it. If you want a hole, go get a drill. Well, if you want to run a business, have a CRM. Have a proper follow-up system. And focus on that for at minimum 30 to 60 minutes in a day. Oh, but I'm so busy. Yeah, but with what? Oh, I got to run here and I got to run there. Okay, so you're making make-work projects. And don't get me wrong. We all got to run somewhere. Schedule it. But don't give yourself the bullshit lie that you can't make a few phone calls in a day to touch base with people on your contact list just to say hello. Reminder, your business is built on repeat and referral business. That's where it comes from. So the more you make the phone call, leave the voicemail, send the text message, say hello, ask about the birthday, the trip, the baseball game, anything, the more opportunity you have to have that person call you when they start thinking about buying and or selling. Don't have a process? Miss an opportunity. So again, non-negotiable is focusing 30 to 60 minutes of your day on your follow-up. And you can do it while you're driving. If you got to go drive somewhere, go. Here, another one. Education. Feed your brain. In fact, I say that like you're not doing it, but you're doing it right now because you listen to Mindshare Podcast, and that's exactly what you should be doing every single week, tuning into the show. And yeah, that sounded very self-serving. The truth be told, I do the show for you. I don't do it for me. Okay, you're the one listening to the show. The idea is to try to deliver a message to you that's going to resonate with you so that whatever you're doing, whatever struggle you're having or challenge you're having, hopefully there's something within this show that's going to help you deal with that now. But feeding the brain is crucial, right? 30 minutes a day, that's it. 30 minutes a day. Listen to a podcast, read a book, watch a video. But learn something that's going to help you sharpen that mind. Okay, maybe it's updating yourself on what's going on with the market. Maybe it's getting a better sense of it. Exactly that. What are the challenges that people are having? Maybe do some research on that. But the more you continue to feed your brain, the more information it takes in, the more it can process, the more creative it gets, the more opportunities it finds, the more of a problem solver you are. So feed your brain. And I can't say feed your brain without adding in this last one here. But take care of you. Like self-care, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. Sleep, eat, move, work out. 20 minutes of walking in a day. If you're doing absolutely nothing, like jack shit, you're not going to the gym, you're not jogging, you're not physically active, you find you're sitting down a lot, get out and move. Take a walk for 20 minutes. And you know what? Do the walk for 30 minutes, turn on your earbuds, and listen to a book or a good podcast. Now we got the education and self-care done in 30 minutes. I bet you're taking time to scroll social media for longer than 30 minutes in a day. So come on, be real with yourself. Take care of you, and you have the ability to take care of others. So there's 5 non-negotiables for you. Prospecting, social, your follow-up, feed your brain, and take care of you. Look, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Think about that. Now, no matter what's going on, people seem to still, want to give up. But why? Well, simply put, they're not seeing the return on investment. They're watching other people, especially through like a channel like social media, they're watching other people win. And of course, with the market doing what it's doing right now, people are tired. I get it. A lot of running, a lot of doing. And I mean, again, it's funny because you go back to 2020 and 21 and even 22 a little bit when it was like buyers were the ones exhausted. Now you got sellers that are the ones exhausted. Damn, this business is exhausting. It's like, it's why are we doing this? No, but seriously, people feel like giving up because they're not seeing the returns right now. Yet they're thinking that everybody else is achieving it. So I want to talk to that because this is where most people quit right now. But what we need to understand is that results are always going to come after effort. Think about it. Results will always come after the effort. If you're not putting in the effort, you can't expect to get the results. And on the same token, if you are putting in the effort, you still cannot expect to get the same results immediately. They're just not coming today. No farmer ever planted a seed and looked at it and said, I'm going to have an apple tree later on today. No different in business. One seed planted at a time. Water those seeds every single day. And at some point, they will bear fruit. Progress over results. What you're doing today ain't going to pay off tomorrow, but it may pay off in 30 days, it may pay off in 60 days, it may pay off in 90 days. Hell, it may pay off in 3 years, but if I ask you this and say to you, hey, keep in touch with that person for the next 3 years consistently, they may ignore the shit out of you for the next 3 years consistently. The question I ask you is, do you think you're building mindshare? And if you're like, well, no, they haven't called me back. Well, no, I'm going to argue that. Have they seen the email? Well, probably. I could tell that they saw it. Actually, I'm looking at it. Like, I see my stats. They see the text? Yeah, it shows me the 2 blue bubbles that they did it, or the WhatsApp, the 2 check marks, or the Instagram DM seen. You can see that they saw it. You know that they probably listened to the voicemail. They just haven't chosen to call you back yet. Well, so then why would I stay in touch with them? Well, because it costs you barely anything. Like, we're talking barely anything to stay in touch with those folks. Like over 3 years, if you break it down and ask yourself, what would the cost be? I would argue you're probably in about a $60 to $70 range. 60 to 70 bucks over 3 years. Legit. Total. Now ask yourself, should you delete the person? Should you give up on them? Or if they were to come to you to do some business, do you think the ROI might be in the like 1,000,000% compared to your $60 you invested in a few phone calls? Come on, let's be real with each other. Okay? People give up way too quickly. Don't. And even if you feel like it, don't. Trust isn't built in a day. And neither is your pipeline. Time for a quick commercial break over here. I just want to mention that this episode is proudly sponsored by Kits Keep in Touch Systems, your ultimate marketing and lead generation CRM. REM Real Estate Magazine, your trusted source for Canadian real estate news. And Revel Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing, cutting-edge training, and a powerful culture of success. Be sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle at mindshare101.com. And while you're there, check out how our coaching and training services can help you build a business that works. One-to-one coaching for personalized growth. The Mindshare Collective for group coaching support. Momentum training to level up your game. Keynote speaking to fire up your team. And don't forget to save your seat for our Mindshare Mastermind happening September 15th to the 17th in Toronto. Small room, big energy, and game-changing breakthroughs. Come on, let's go. Get your ticket. There's literally less than like 8 tickets left, I believe it is. We got some amazing speakers which are going to blow you away. But you got to be in the room to find out. Be sure to join us. Mindshare101.com. All right, we're back. So let's talk about how do we reignite that fire, that motivation when you're still just like, you're like, man, I hear you, I know, but like it's just not there right now. I want you to go backwards for a second. And this may sound so freaking cliche, but I want you to tap back into your why. I had a guy reach out to me on Instagram the other day, and he says to me that, he wanted to have a conversation, and we sort of open up a little bit of a DM together. And I've never spoken to the guy on by phone or in person or anything else. But he says to me that he is a police officer who now has a real estate license, and he wants to get out of policing and get into real estate. And so he gave me this entire explanation. I went back to him and I asked him, like, why? Why would you give up a job that gives you a pension so that you could go and work 8 days a week, 25 hours a day, and be responsible for everything? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? And I mean, on one hand, you're giving up a job to own a business. On the other hand, it's like, you're owning a business. This is no joke. So we went on, and again, look, we went on and we had a little bit more conversation together, but the bottom line is what I did was I was digging into his why. And a lot of it came back to family and freedom and stresses. And I mean, there's some really good reasons there. So he had a really strong reason for why. Now, much the same for you, I want you to think about what's your why. And maybe you could be like, because that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. Okay. Maybe you sit back and say, because, I really like real estate, or I want to make a lot of money. And I'll tell you, if it's just because you like real estate and want to make money, you're in the wrong business. Straight up. But if you like the opportunity, if you like running your own business, if you like the ability to have freedom, the ability to dictate what your days look like, the ability to, make as much or as little as you want to make, okay. So the first thing is tap back into your why. How do I reignite the motivation? Why am I doing this? And it does go deeper than just saying I want more money. You've got personal reasons. This comes right back to our goals. Listen, we are walking into literally the back half of 2025 right now. It's coming up. And so when you think about it, in the month of October, November, when I start working with my clients on goals, which come to think of it is coming up in like 4 months, scary as hell, 5 months, whatever it is, like it's just scary to even think about. But a lot of people wait till December. A lot of people don't do anything. And really, when people do, they normally don't even check it again until 1 year later. Well, right now, at this very moment, we are at the halfway mark of the year, and I already committed to you today that we're going to talk about how to stay consistent when nothing's working. And this is exactly the goal right now. We're trying to make sure that you understand why to keep pushing through no matter how difficult it is, no matter how the market's working against you. First thing you got to do is remind yourself, why are you getting up to do this every day? I want to spend more time with my family. I want to go on more vacations. I want to put X amount of dollars aside. I want to be retired by this age. I want to buy a new whatever. We got to we have to go back to that so that we have a driving force for why we're going to get up and do it every day. Another way to motivate yourself is go back and look at your wins, right? Like, again, as a coaching client, you know this, but for everybody else, we track every deal. And it's not just who, and it's not just like how much, but it's who, it's how much, it's where did they come from. And not just the deals, but like I look at the calendar and I go, okay, did I get everything done that I needed to do today? And if I did, that's a win. Think about it. I had my non-negotiables. I put in the effort. I may not have gotten the results immediately, but the win that I'm looking at is the progress over the results. Did I get it done today? Yes, you did. Good. Then you poured water on those seeds. They will bear fruit. You have to trust in the process. But there's got to be a way to motivate yourself no matter what. There's got to be a way to motivate yourself even though you may feel like nothing's working. And those little wins of moving through your day, tackling the stuff that you had scheduled, accomplishing it, then also understanding where your business comes from, all these little things compounded, they will result in more deals, especially when this market picks back up. But look at them. Let them motivate you. The same thing, like if you're around the wrong people can demotivate you, and the right people can motivate you. So make sure you look around at your circle and ask yourself if you're surrounded with people who are also doing the work, or if you're surrounded people by people who are lazy or just bitching, complaining, blaming the market, lamenting about what's not working. Okay? And again, like-minded people will help like-minded people, but that could be in the positive or the negative. So think about that. And this is why I come right back to your why and your wins, because quite frankly, I mean, look, it's an individual business. This is a solo game. Yes, we need others, but at the end of the day, you're the one that you face in the mirror. You're the one that you got to take care of. So focus on you. Don't focus on others. And as we talk about focus on you, again, from a social perspective, as I talked about a non-negotiable, stop consuming and start creating. Just the endless scroll, again, as we're just doing that and wasting time, or bright shiny object syndrome, please understand, it's totally useless. Now, if you're engaging with people and making conversation and tapping into their DMs by what you've seen in their posts, now you're giving yourself opportunity. And again, that is you working the social. So yeah, you're consuming, but now you're actually actioning. And then from a creating perspective, I mean, you got to have something to say, right? You got to take some time to put something up there every once in a while. Again, strategy. Right? So when we think about motivation, if I'm constantly looking what others have, and I'm constantly looking what I don't have, and I'm constantly jealous of other people, and I'm constantly thinking about, stressing about what's not working, well, at the end of the day, nothing's going to work. But if I'm constantly focused on me, my goals, what I am accomplishing day by day, hour by hour, I'm going to motivate myself to keep wanting more. Then when I'm around people who are also doing that, we're going to lift each other up. And as long as I control my social media intake, because I think there's a lot of negative shit out there, you just get caught in like doom scrolling for no reason. It's just a waste of time. As long as you use it wisely, it can do some nice things for you. But by just scrolling and watching what other people have, there's a reason they have and you don't. It's because you're scrolling. So look, like a little quick hack here. Schedule 1 hour this week, with a colleague of yours, with a coach. No fluff, just pure accountability. Have the hard conversations. Ask, what are you seeing? And I never hesitate to ask that. Maybe somebody listening right now have asked you that. So I got to know, why not me? Or what can I learn? What didn't we do? That's accountability. On top of the fact that I will look and say, you know, and again, I as you know, coached many, will hold people accountable. There's a process to it. And through tracking and measuring and doing, we can see what are we doing, what are we accomplishing, what are we not doing, and this is why we're not accomplishing. Okay, let's be accountable to the process here. Let's have a discipline that is actually going to get us to be the successful, you know, person and business that we want. So look, showing up matters. No matter what, showing up matters. And as we sort of, you know, as we look over everything that I was sharing with you here, really trying to just get you to reignite, you know, this drive, right? Because this month has been very much about that, at least with my show here. But understand that consistency doesn't mean perfection. And really there's no such thing as perfection, right? It's very subjective. Consistency also doesn't mean like we're going to get massive wins every week just because we're consistent. But what it does mean, it means you're keeping the engine running. It's well-oiled. You got gasoline in the tank. The car's nice and warm. And it's ready to go no matter what. It means that you're building the mind share. People are seeing you. They're hearing from you. They're noticing you. Your name is there. You didn't just disappear where people just begin to forget. Right? So you're staying visible. And by building that mind share, when they are finally ready to move, you are giving yourself a better chance to get that market share. Nothing I said is some big light bulb moment. Nothing I said is something you haven't heard before. Everything I've said today is a complete reinforcement to the simplicities of what it takes to accomplish what you want. It's how you win in a market just like this one right now. You work on your business. Because when it gets busy, when things pick back up, you are not going to have time. You're going to be buried in your business. So take this moment right now. Take advantage of this market. Recognize where your opportunity is. And if you've been wondering if it's worth keep going, of course it is. But you can't do it blindly. You can't do it desperately. You need to be strategic. You need to be intentional. And you need to be consistent. You've got to believe in the compounding effect, even when you don't actually see it yet. This right now, this is the quiet grind season. And the agents who stay grinding right now are doing the things they need to do. They're the ones who are going to dominate when this market swings back up. Most people won't do it. But you and I, we ain't most people. So let's go get it. You've been listening to the Mindshare Podcast. Whether it's on your favorite podcast platform or directly from my website. For more business building tools, coaching, inspiration, head to mindshare101.com. Don't forget to grab your free Ultimate Marketing Bundle while you're there. And hey, if this episode hit home for you, I'd love to hear about it. DM me, David Greenspan 101, and let me know what showing up means to you right now. Until next time, keep building mindshare because that's how you earn market share. A big thanks to Kids Keep in Touch Systems, REM Magazine, and Revel Realty for their continued support as sponsors of the show. This has been episode number 340 of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.